Prayer is not just a conversation. It is an invitation into the heart of God. When you step into prayer, you are stepping into a sacred space where time slows down and His presence fills the silence. You are not required to have perfect words or perfect emotions. You are simply invited to dwell, to sit in His love, to breathe in His nearness. Prayer is less about getting something from God and more about being with Him. As you open your heart, even in its weariness or confusion, He meets you with tenderness. 1 hour in His love can transform your spirit in ways that striving never could. In prayer, walls begin to fall. Fear begins to loosen its grip. Hope starts to rise quietly from places you thought were too tired to dream again. This is the power of prayer, not to change God, but to let God change you. Dwelling in God's love through prayer is not about rushing through words or ticking off a list of requests. It is about settling your soul into His presence, allowing His peace to wash over the noise inside you. Prayer is the place where your deepest fears are met with His deepest compassion, where your questions find comfort even before they find answers. As you linger with Him, you begin to see that prayer is not an obligation. It is a lifeline. You are not trying to reach a distant God. You are resting in the arms of a Father who has already drawn near. Each moment you spend in prayer, whether speaking, listening, or simply being silent, roots you deeper in His love. It reminds you that you are safe, you are seen, and you are surrounded. This hour is not wasted. It is the most important place you could choose to be. As you dwell in prayer, you begin to notice that God's love is not just something you visit. It becomes the place you live. His presence shapes your thoughts, quiets your anxieties, and softens the hard places in your heart. You realize that prayer is less about what you bring to God and more about what He pours into you. He speaks in the stillness, not always with grand revelations, but with gentle reminders that you are His. You belong. You are enough. 1 hour with Him becomes a sanctuary from the rush and pressure of the world. It becomes a shelter where your spirit can rest without fear of judgment or failure. In this place, burdens grow lighter, hope grows stronger, and your heart beats in rhythm with His grace. Prayer is not a break from life. It is where true life begins, flowing from His endless love into every corner of your being. If this message is speaking to your heart, consider subscribing and tapping the bell to walk this journey with us. The longer you dwell in God's presence through prayer, the more you realize that His love is not something you can measure or contain. It stretches farther than your doubts, reaches deeper than your fears, and holds you firmer than any storm. You may come to prayer feeling empty, but you will leave overflowing. Not because your circumstances have suddenly changed, but because your heart has been changed in His presence. He fills the hollow places with hope. He mends the broken spaces with grace. He silences the accusing voices with truth. Prayer is where you remember who you are, not through the lens of failure or fear, but through the lens of God's unchanging affection. You are not what the world says about you. You are not what fear whispers to you. You are who He says you are. Beloved, redeemed, secure. In prayer, that truth takes root and begins to grow. As you stay in the shelter of prayer, you begin to understand that God's love is not fragile. It does not grow tired of your questions, your struggles, or your silence. His love remains steady, even when your faith feels unsteady. Prayer is the space where you stop performing and start abiding. It is where you trade anxiety for assurance, weakness for strength, restlessness for peace. God does not demand that you come to Him polished and perfect. He welcomes you exactly as you are. In prayer, masks fall away and the real work of healing begins. You are free to be vulnerable here, free to be honest, free to simply be His. Every minute spent in His love is reshaping you, rooting you deeper in grace, strengthening you for the journey ahead. You are not wasting time when you dwell with God. You are building the life your soul was always meant to live. As this hour of prayer draws to a close, remember that the invitation to dwell in God's love never ends. His presence is not limited to quiet rooms or set times. It follows you into every moment, every conversation, every hidden place of your heart. Prayer is not an escape from life. It is the anchor that holds you steady within it. God's love is the soil where your soul takes root, the river where your spirit is refreshed, the shelter where your heart finds rest. You are not leaving His presence. You are carrying it with you. As you step back into the rhythms of your day, let your spirit stay tethered to this love. Let prayer become your breath, your grounding, your song. How can you make space today to dwell a little longer in God's love? Share your thoughts in the comments below.